Hello, my name is Cameron, and I'm here today with my colleagues Stephanie, Larissa, and Daiching, and we are Team Red Bull. Red Bull is an Austrian company that was co-founded by Dietrich Mateschitz and Chaleo Uvidia in 1984. Originally, Chaleo had opened a company named Krating Daeng, and they produced energy drinks in Asia, and these drinks were mainly consumed by late-night truck drivers and laborers, and were mainly sold in local gas stations or small markets. After having the drink on a plane, to cure his plane hangover, Dietrich was inspired by the drink and went to Asia to meet with Chaleo and the executives of Krating Daeng. He proposed the idea to bring the product to Europe and even the United States, but doing that would require the flavor formula to change. Dietrich said that for the Western people, a berry flavor would be more suiting for everyone's flavor profiles. Today, the Red Bull is a leading name in the energy drink world, passing Monster and others, and with over 4 billion cans sold worldwide.
So Red Bull is one of the most successful companies because of its strong marketing techniques, and also because it has highly motivated employees and employees that are outgoing, positive, and love what they do. So Red Bull's main competitor is Monster. Red Bull has about 43% of the market share, and Monster has about 39%. So far, to this day, Red Bull has expanded to 171 countries, and Monster, on the other hand, is only expanded to 73 countries. There is more competition than Monster that Red Bull has, but they're not as prevalent in the market. Also, Red Bull was introduced, as Kim said, in the United States in 1997. However, Monster came less than 5 years later and introduced their products, being Red Bull's main competitor. Also, Monster mainly does their advertising through mass marketing events, such as their huge BMX events and skiing and lots of sporting events. But Red Bull takes on a different marketing approach. So marketing strategies of Red Bull, the main one is that they are a market-oriented approach, meaning that they constantly change in order to better fit the market. They have several different target audiences, mainly college students for their newer brands, and then their older, loyal customers usually go to their original Red Bull flavors. Red Bull has so many different flavors. They have sugar-free, they have low-carb, they have things to fit basically everyone's needs and desires in an energy drink in order to get that extra boost. But Red Bull is basically based off of customers' opinions and desires, so that's why there's so many different flavors, so many different outcomes, and so many different possibilities for a can of Red Bull. And also, since it's constantly changing, there's always going to be a way that Red Bull will find a way to better fit the new market.
So Red Bull's culture, they are relaxed, but they're hardworking. The founder, Dietrich Mateschitz, wanted to create a fun culture, as Stephanie talked about, BMX events. They're very much into media and sports, so that's something that's really big in the culture. Employees are allowed to go and skateboard in the offices. They're able to do tons of various activities in the buildings and have fun at work, but also innovate and take the brand of Red Bull on to new heights. So a really big quote from the founder, Mateschitz, is, "Marketing is a simple job requiring only a clear mind and bright eyes. Perkiness is the only prerequisite. Everything else you can learn quickly." And that's very important because in their headquarters in Austria, Red Bull's headquarters have bulls coming outside from the side of their headquarters building. And that's really to show like the passion and just like the quirky culture at Red Bull. And also the company Red Bull and the heads really want all the different divisions of Red Bull to create their own type of brand. So, for instance, the Canadian headquarters, they brought out a cola product several years ago, and it didn't go so well. But Red Bull encouraged that because they want people to innovate. They want people to take Red Bull into a different direction. It's not just one model. And Red Bull's always promoted that, to go in different directions and change things up, and has inspired many other companies to do the same.
So Red Bull really has highly motivated employees, and it gets its employees to be very motivated by doing quite a lot of things. They go above and beyond what regular companies do in order to make sure employees are happy doing what they do, that they're motivated, that they're performing well, and that they have incentives to perform well. So talking about Maslow's 5 stages to get employees happy and what motivates employees, Red Bull actually tries to, in its own way, tries to satisfy these employee needs. The first one, the most basic needs, would be the physiological and safety needs, the first step of the pyramid. Red Bull satisfies these needs by having competitive salaries and also creating a safe space for all employees. So say, for example, an employee was feeling uncomfortable at an event or uncomfortable in the workforce. The HR department in Red Bull is really, really on top of their things to make sure that all employees feel comfortable, that all employees are having a good time and feel safe and can work to their best of their ability without having to worry about things that they shouldn't really be worrying about at all. Also, for the social needs, Red Bull tries to build friendships within the organization by having people of similar personalities there. Like if you're outgoing, your team's outgoing, they want to have people that can be outgoing, people that are positive, people that have high energy in order to create the best working atmosphere possible. Also, Red Bull does a lot of events with their employees, such as basic happy hours, like once a week. And that tries to encourage employees to get to know each other better, build friendships within the groups, and also have a great time together. To satisfy the third block of the pyramid, the esteem needs, Red Bull definitely recognizes accomplishments of employees. They do this by providing praise to their employees, being like, oh my gosh, you're doing such a good job. Congratulations, or here's a bonus. Red Bull really believes in bonuses, which what an employee of Red Bull told me. She said that her manager got 2 bonuses last year for doing really well. And I was like, that's actually really fantastic because if you, never mind. But it was really great. Really great. And also, there's a lot of praise and admire in the Red Bull community because employees constantly try and bring up their fellow employees and fellow workers and be like, you're doing a great job. Because managers even write letters of praise, or some managers write letters of praise to their employees being like, you did a great job in your presentation last week. Like, congrats. Like, here's like a free thing, blah, blah, blah. There's like so many good things with Red Bull. It's fantastic. And also the peak of the pyramid, the self-actualization, which is the hardest to achieve for all people. Red Bull tries to make people get up to this level of needs by saying that there's always room for growth and promotion. If you work in Red Bull, it's really easy, not really easy, it's like possible to move up the chain in command. So if you're there for a few years, then it's like more likely for you to get a promotion rather than them hiring from the outside. They really like growth from within the firm or within the company, and that is another great aspect of Red Bull.
Okay, so just to go back a little bit on what I spoke about earlier, GoPro is a company that was inspired by Red Bull. The founder, Nick Woodman, was an avid Red Bull drinker, and he was also into extreme sports. So he wanted to create a company which is a camera that basically goes and a person can use it to record moments in extreme sports. And so he wanted to create this company culture based off of Red Bull. He wanted to have fun. He allows employees, much like Red Bull, they're allowed to skateboard, and they also have other things at their headquarters for employees to do. And in 2015, Red Bull and GoPro joined into a partnership, and the first one of its kind, and to create content together. And both companies have been very successful since then.
So another factor that contributes to Red Bull's success is their employee personality. There are big 5 personality dimensions, which are openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. So according to Red Bull's website, they hire people which is with outgoing and charismatic personality, and this can be approved by another scholar article. It said extroversion possibly related to both performance ratings and periods of leave, and neuroticism that could associate with potential ratings. Moreover, Red Bull's employee personality also highly matches with their company image, which is express a high energy. One of the Red Bull's wins team, which is a product sampling team, and the goal is to drive product trials or win new users and introduce existing users to new consumption occasions. Red Bull points out that in order to be a successful Wings member, people should maintain a charming and light-hearted attitude, keep high level of energy, and have a sparkling personality, which all contribute to extroversion and positive personality. Moreover, according to one of the scholar articles, is that extroversion was a valid predictor for two occupations involving social interaction, such as managers and sales. This explains that why Red Bull has a more powerful and experienced marketing team than others. Another article said that extroversion was identified as one of the personality trait that is expected to denote high correlation with sales and performance. This finding suggests that a positive and extroverted personality will result in a positive correlation with employee engagement and eventually benefits the company's future success. Besides all the organizational behaviors that contribute to Red Bull success, we think like corporate social responsibility also makes an important role. So corporate social responsibility is a corporation should act in a way that enhances society and its inhabitants that be held accountable for any of its actions that affect people and their communities and their environment. There are three parts involved in CSR, which are financial and environmental and social. So as for Red Bull, there's no doubt that Red Bull is one of the most successful companies in the energy drink industry. Red Bull's market share is about 73% and has already expanded into 171 countries. And over their last 30 years, the company has already sold about 2 billion cans. As for environmental, Red Bull is very aware of its environmental responsibility and consistently striving for improvement. According to their website, Red Bull said that energy is never lost, it is only redistributed. Red Bull first uses aluminum cans that is lightweight and 100% recyclable without any loss in quality. And this process can actually take 95% less than producing a new can. And the second, they utilize a wall-to-wall production, which means the cans are manufactured and filled on the same site. This can save miles of transport and eventually reduce the footprint significantly. They also travel to destinations predominated by train and ship, which can largely produce less carbon dioxide emissions. So the last, as for the social part, because Red Bull is noticed the increasing diabetes rate, so they introduced a new drink, which is a Red Bull sugar-free drink. It's a functional beverage which without sugar and only worth 5 calories. Moreover, the most important thing is Red Bull also sponsored Wings for Life campaign, which is to support cutting-edge international research project towards spinal cord injury. And according to the website, they said Red Bull takes all administrative costs of the event and foundation are kindly covered by the Red Bull company. So all in all, based on all the adoption of CSR and its unique organizational behavior, which differentiates Red Bull with other companies in the beverage industry.
And thank you for your time. And again, we're Team Red Bull.